We have been following the story of the Lemay Forest. This is a pristine piece of property in St. Norbert that has historic value. The owner originally said he'd sell, and our guest worked hard with colleagues to raise the $3 million asking price. Now the owner is so far saying no deal, but we've tried to reach the owner's spokesperson, and in all my years in dealing with John Winthrop, he has not ever returned a text within a couple of hours. In a moment, the president of the Manitoba Métis Federation joins us live. Kat McCauley-Gauthier is with the Coalition to Save the Lemay Forest. She's with us live on 680 CJOB. Kat McCauley-Gauthier, tell us about this letter that you put out on social and the offer to the owners that you want to make a deal. You've got the funding in place.
Hi. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Well, we did send a hard copy of the letter to the landowner. We felt that because the offer to purchase in March expired, we were pretty disappointed with that, and we just feel there's a better way to come to a win-win solution for the landowner, as well as for, biodiversity, climate resiliency, conservation, reconciliation, without the use of threats and manipulation tactics, especially while the funding is available.
So what is that win-win?
Well, we don't believe that the landowner is intending to develop the Lemay Forest land. So getting out of the deal, he paid $1.5 million 7 years ago, and an offer for around $3 million was extended to him. So, that sounds like a pretty good deal.
Has anyone appraised the land? Is that a fair asking price? I don't know.
An appraisal by an independent, credible entity was completed in January of 2024. The offer made to the landowner was for fair market value, and the secured funding was $3.1 million. So, that's what we know.
Let's bring in the president of the Manitoba Métis Federation, David Chartrand, because President Chartrand, you're quite familiar with the art of negotiation behind closed doors and publicly here. My sense is that this is a landowner that sees that there might be even more dollar signs available, yet there's levels of government here and there's other people that are trying to do the right thing. How important is this to the MMF and others?
Firstly, let me start off with it definitely looks like the owner is looking at, maybe the advisor to the owner is also looking at better pricing that could find itself there, given that there's such a urgency or such a high demand for a certain perspective with the environment, historical. For us, there's also potential graves that could be located there. So from that perspective, we're definitely looking at taking whatever action necessary. When it comes to graves and culture and all that, that's a different game, and we will come in with every loaded gun we have to protect culture and of course our graves. But I think the error is starting to fall is Mr. Winthrop is the middleman. Of course, the middleman gets paid based on the end result. And the more he gets gained, the more he gets paid percentage-wise. So that's usually what happens in negotiations. So I'd like to meet the owners themselves directly and have a dialogue face-to-face and say, look, understand it from this perspective. Firstly, there's historical perspectives here that hopefully you will understand the value of that. Secondly, there's environmental and other matters which I think play a big dividend of respect that we have to take under the concerns of its investment. Thirdly, can the water and sewer system actually sustain his demand of what he's trying to build? We're talking 2,500 to 5,000 units. So that I think is a chess game right now, Richard. And I think we need to, in this type of rule, you don't panic now. This is not where you panic. This is where we sit down and put a strategy in place. We will go before June 24th, the hearing of the city. I don't think the city can actually give a rezoning, given the factors that exist. So we'll make a clear statement. We are looking at historical records right now to give us the evidence we need to go and ask permission to go and look if there's any graves, any markers that we can find historically connected back to our people. So I think the city has to take that in consideration. And plus, I said, can they make a decision? The city say, we'll rezone you, but knowing full well the water and sewer system can't sustain that. You know, good enough, we have enough raw sewage running to our rivers already. I think the city's got to be very careful when they look at big ventures such as this. So I hope that the owners are listening right now, and I hope they say, well, okay, maybe we should sit down with the group and have a discussion, a solid discussion with them.
So, Kat, it sounds like you have a pretty solid ally in President Chartrand.
Yeah, we do. We have so many allies. It's really incredible. And we will also be there on June 24th.
Well, I'll be interested to see whether or not Mr. Winthrop returns my text and agrees to come here on 680 CJOB. And President Chartrand, as we leave this interview today, my sense is that you've been kind, but it's no more Mr. Nice Guy, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that will eventually, that's going to kick in, as I say, if we get more evidence and some historical documents to back up what we're saying, then that's when I will come with loaded guns and make it very clear that this is no longer Mr. Nice Guy. I love to negotiate. That's one of my expertise. And at the end of the day, it's got to be a two-way street. So if they don't, then we'll take it. As I said, I don't waste any time spending millions if I have to fight this thing in a court. So that if there's graves there, I'll do everything in my power to protect it. I don't care who it is, who am I against. That's part of our culture. We do everything in our power to protect our graves and our people in the afterlife.
David Chartrand, president of the Manitoba Métis Federation, Kat McCauley-Gauthier, the Coalition to Save Lemay Forest, joining us here live on 680 CJOB.
I'm getting me. No more Mr. Nice Guy.
It's 3:44.